Welcome or welcome back. This is your curious European friend, and today I'm gonna be reacting to all 9 big cities in Canada being ranked from worst to best. So he's gonna start off with the worst cities, and then we'll move on to see which he deems is the best city in Canada. So I'm really curious what order of the list this is going to be. So let's just go ahead and see.
Do you know who's cold and smart, loves maple syrup, and drinks milk out of a bag? I'll give you a hint. Their phone number is 1-800-ALL-CANADA. That's right, today we're talking about beavers. Oh wait, that's a different video. Although beavers are the official animal of Canada, and Canadians do beaver-y nice. Probably since they live in one of the best countries on earth. In fact, so many people are moving to Canada that it's now the most multicultural nation and one of the fastest growing, with its population of 38 million increasing by 1.8% each year. So today we're starting a new series on the best places to live here. This video will rank the 9 big cities in Canada from worst to best, but since everyone has different city size preferences, let's hit 3,000 likes for videos on the best medium and small cities in Canada too.
Did not know that he also has those, so if you want to see me react to those, then let me know in the comments.
Now, the Great White North has much fewer residents than its neighbor to the south, with only 6 cities having metro populations over 1 million residents, compared to 56 in the US. So to qualify as big for Canadian standards, a city's metro area only needs to have over 800,000 residents. Mid-sized cities will have between 200 and 600,000, and then small cities have a metro population under 200,000. So put on your toque and grab some Timmies as I give ye the 9 largest cities in Canada ranked from worst to best. Number 9. Winnipeg, Manitoba. Winnipeg? More like lose a leg. No, like literally, it gets so cold here that you might get frostbite if you don't layer properly. Winterpeg is actually the coldest and windiest major city in Canada, with 44 days per year where the wind chill hits negative 30 Celsius. But as May comes and the sub-zero temperatures
That is crazy.
begin to subside, don't breathe too big a sigh of relief, because you might just inhale one of Winnipeg's 39 different species of mosquitoes. In fact, Manitoba is often dubbed the mosquito capital of...
Oh, I have seen this statue before, but I did not know that this was there. And I did not know that they had so many species. Like that, I did not expect that. That is so random to me. I don't know what, yeah. But I was expecting it to be like, but yeah, that's
the world,
crazy.
since it's over 100,000 lakes, results in literally millions of mosquitoes.
It's because of lakes.
But if you can look past the frost and bug bites and the fact that it's one of the most dangerous Canadian cities with a violent crime rate 61% above the national average, Winnipeg isn't terrible and actually offers a lot more than most cities its size. It's incredibly diverse, has one of the best museums in the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, and is home to a solid economy, NHL hockey, a thriving arts and festival scene, and charming neighborhoods full of historic architecture. Plus, the average home cost is still just $351,000, and there's hardly any traffic. Although Winnipeg is also the most sprawling city in Canada, so you need a car to live here. Number 8, Edmonton,
I thought that's in most cities in Canada, you need a car. Maybe not in Toronto, cities like that, but
Alberta. Alberta is one of, if not the best province in Canada, so you probably assume its capital is a great place to live. And yeah, it has a lot going for it with the largest mall and city park system in the country, plenty of gorgeous nearby nature, stellar farmers markets, and a phenomenal cultural scene with over 50 festivals and unique art exhibits like the Neon Sign Museum and INIW Indigenous Art Park. But Edmonton is also the second coldest major city in Canada, and in a lot of ways feels more like a big town as it's mostly a collection of suburbs and factories with large distances and endless parking lots between the few cool neighborhoods like Old Strathcona Tacoma, Chinatown, Garneau, and 124th Street. And while on paper it's a great place to live and save money with an average home price of just $370,000 compared to the median after-tax income of $84,000, the predominantly blue-collar economy is also
That's quite a big difference.
overly dependent on the oil industry and thus very volatile. In fact, incomes have decreased by nearly 5% over the past 5 years. This has led to a large uptick in crime in rundown areas, and although the city is making strides to address these issues through their city plan, which includes massively diversifying the economy and for all future population growth to be via densification rather than outward expansion in hopes to make the city more lively, walkable, and urban, today nearly half of Edmonton is still empty lots or abandoned buildings. Number 7. Hamilton, Ontario. Most people not from Hamilton think it's just a dangerous, grungy, industrial city. And that's honestly a shame because sure, it is full of older buildings and rough...
I had not heard of Hamilton, to be honest. Yeah.
looking areas, but Hamilton is actually the second safest city in Canada, and its downtown and surrounding areas are undergoing a huge renaissance with plenty of new restaurants, bars, cafes, and beautiful street art. Public transit is also solid. The hospitals and universities are among the best in the nation, and if you ever get bored, Toronto or Niagara Falls are less than an hour away. Now, I'm not gonna lie, compared to...
That's crazy. In an hour, you could just be at the Niagara Falls. I don't know if I pronounced that right there, but it's insane.
Toronto, Hamilton will seem boring, but the people are also much friendlier, everything is less crowded, and it's got a great balance between city life and small town vibes. I'd say the most similar US city comparison would be Pittsburgh, and not just because they were both the steel city in their respective
That doesn't say anything to me.
countries. Both are very historic, humble, and weird towns which underwent huge economic hardships before reinventing themselves into gritty, artistic, entrepreneurial havens surrounded by beautiful scenery. But while Pittsburgh is still relatively cheap, Hamilton is almost as expensive as Toronto with an average home cost of $750,000. The economy is quite good too, however, with a median household income of $80,000, resulting in a poverty rate of just 6.7%. Number 6, Toronto, Ontario.
What? But Toronto has so many problems. Who the heck would want to live there?
Well, considering it's by far the largest city in Canada.
I mean, I would have expected it to maybe be higher up, but again, I don't know that much about, all these cities, obviously, but yeah, maybe just because it's more known, I would have thought that, or like it's a bigger city, maybe more people want to live there.
A lot of people. Sure, Toronto may have the second highest average home price at
But I guess with that also comes like problems.
$1.04 million and some of the worst traffic in North America, but it's also incredibly safe, and there's a reason so many people from all over the world are moving here. In fact, it's now the most multicultural city on Earth and likely the most desirable North American city for immigrants, mainly due to having the strongest and most diverse job market in Canada, with the second highest median after-tax income at $85,000. But while Torontans work hard, they play even harder because between the abundance of world-class restaurants and entertainment, the amazing music and art scene, top-notch museums and universities, beautiful parks and beaches, the only NBA and MLB teams in Canada, and great public transit to access it all, it's impossible to run out of things to do in this city. Add in the fact that Toronto has some of the mildest winters in Canada, and it's easy to see why Torontans don't mind spending more, as the best things in life usually ain't cheap. Number 5, Vancouver, British Columbia.
Yeah, why? That was a late reaction, but why does Canada only have one? I think he said one NBA team, and why is it in Toronto? Why do they not have more? Because then it's so random that there is a Canadian team in the NBA. So why not more?
Yeah, I won't beat around the bush. Vancouver is expensive. In fact,
that was unrelated to the video.
It's the most expensive city in Canada. But if you love the bush, few cities in this world can match the encompassing natural...
Yeah, Vancouver has one of the most, the more milder weather. I feel like this sentence is not flowing well. The weather in Vancouver is one of the more is more mild than most of Canada, right? I think Victoria might be the mildest, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, let me know in the comments.
Beauty of this outdoor lover's paradise, which you can enjoy year-round since Vancouver's home to the most temperate climate in Canada. Heck, even the nature within the city limits, from the lush tree-lined streets to Stanley Park to 90% of the city being within a 5-minute walk from a green space, is breathtaking too. Seriously, Vancouver is so well designed in terms of mixing high-density urban living with nature that its style of
Yeah, that's so nice to me when you can be in a city but also have all of this green space around you, because for me personally, I think I would not enjoy being in a big city where there's only city or very little nature and green spaces or parks, just somewhere that you can like breathe a little bit, if you know what I mean. So that would be something I would personally be looking for, but yeah, I also appreciate in places.
In architecture is called Vancouverism, where residential slim skyscrapers are separated by low-rise commercial buildings and parks so they don't obstruct views of the coast or mountains, while nearly every task is able to be completed by foot, bike, or train. And aside from being...
And that is another thing. The fact that you don't have to go everywhere by car. As a European, like I never knew how like spoiled I was in that sense, because there's a lot of places that you do need to have a car, but because I am not used to it, I didn't grow up like that. It's very unsettling in a way to me, where I feel claustrophobic, or I don't know the right word to label it, the feeling with, but I just really appreciate being able to go places either by foot, a bike, public transit. You just have multiple options of transport, and you don't just need to go take the car to just go anywhere. So yeah, I feel like if I would be looking for somewhere to live, that's definitely something that I would take into account as well.
Being a huge tech and entertainment center and offering every big city amenity, Vancouver is also Canada's gateway to Asia and Oceania. As such, it's the most Asian city outside of Asia, with 45% of the population being Asian and 57% being visible minorities. This has resulted in the city having some of the best food on earth and so much rich heritage with many cultural events and festivals. So yeah, even with an average home cost of $1.163 million and all that gloominess and rain, Vancouver continues to be one of the fastest growing cities.
Yeah, that is one of the only things that I do not like is when it rains a lot. And that's kind of funny for me to say, because I am from the Netherlands, and of course it rains a lot in the Netherlands, but I do not like it. I've never liked it. Like, sometimes I can appreciate it because it's really nice and cozy weather to just be inside with a blanket, some hot cocoa, and a book, and you have an excuse to be cozy inside. But I feel like my mood generally is a lot better seeing the sun. So even if it doesn't even rain, but it's always cloudy, it's not my favorite thing in the world. But I know that there are people who really do like that type of weather, so this might be their favorite place.
Number 4, Quebec City, Quebec. If you thought Vancouver got a lot of precipitation, Quebec is saying, hold my beer. Or actually, they'd probably say, tiens ma bière, because French is the official language here. But Francais or Anglais, Quebec is the snowiest major city in North America, with an average snowfall
Did not know that.
of over 400 centimeters each year. Rather than hide from the cold and snow, however, the city welcomes it with plenty of winter sports and festivals. From December to March, Old Quebec, which feels like a medieval town in Europe,
This is beautiful.
transforms into a
Yeah, it does feel European.
snowy Christmas village full of lights and decorations. And no matter the time of year, the only remaining walled city north of Mexico is teeming with history, with over 30 unique museums and gorgeous nearby parks such as Montmorency Falls. But honestly, Quebec's best museum is just getting lost on the 400-year-old cobblestone streets of Old Town, as there is no turn you can take that won't reward you with awe-inspiring architecture such as the Chateau Frontenac with its sweeping views of the St. Lawrence River. And while the other neighborhoods aren't as historic, they're still charming and vibrant with top-notch restaurants, breweries, and cafes in Saint-Roch and Vieux-des-Mallieux, and great nightlife in Saint-Jean-Baptiste. And best of all, it's a fraction of the cost of most other Canadian cities with an average home value of just $350,000. Add in the fact that it's the
What? How's it so much less?
safest North American city with by far the lowest unemployment and poverty rates in Canada, and maybe you'll want to learn French after all. Number 3, Ottawa.
Is that like a reason why it is cheaper? Because it's a barrier for people to move there? That they have to learn French, so there's less people moving there, therefore it's cheaper? Let me know if you know more about it.
Ontario.
Ottawa at number 3? But isn't it just government stuff and protests? Boring!
Okay, so it's not the most exciting city by any stretch of the imagination, but statistically, Canada's capital is near perfect. The absurdly low crime rates and excellent schools make it the best place in the nation to raise a family, and it also possesses an incredibly strong and diverse job market with a median household after-tax income of $84,000. Probably due to the fact that it has the most educated workforce in North America. And while it's certainly not cheap, compared to Vancouver or Toronto, it is affordable with an average home value of $612,000 and the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment being $1,700 a month. If you're looking for a true big city, however, I'll be blunt. Ottawa ain't it. But while the capital is effectively a collection of small towns and suburbs, it's also a lot more fun than you might expect. Bytown is home to plenty of incredible museums, an underrated food scene, easy access to beautiful quiet nature, a stunning sculpture garden, the largest ice skating rink in the world, and of course, the biggest Canada Day celebration. Now before we get to the final 2, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and let me know what you think the best city in Canada is. But without further ado, number 2. Calgary, Alberta. Calgary might not even have 1.5 million residents, but size isn't everything.
See, I knew about Calgary. Here I go again. I feel like in multiple Canada videos, I bring up Heartland, which is my favorite show. And it's also Canadian. So because of that show, I know about Calgary because it takes place, supposedly, but also I think in actuality, it was filmed in Alberta. I forgot where exactly what the real place was called. Where they shot it, like which city or town. But they mention Calgary and Banff in the show, so that's why I knew about it.
Because Cowtown looks and acts much bigger. Its urban core is similar in size to Dallas or Seattle, despite those metro areas having vastly larger populations. And with plenty of unique buildings and the gorgeous Rocky Mountains in the backdrop, Calgary's skyline is one of the prettiest in North America, especially since it's the cleanest city on Earth. And the reason
We need to stop for that. The cleanest city on Earth. I had never thought about what the cleanest city was. But now that I know, like, what? That's crazy.
Calgary has so many skyscrapers is because it, not Vancouver, is the economic center of Western Canada, with the second largest
Wait,
number
what?
city on Earth. And the reason Calgary has so many skyscrapers is because it, not Vancouver, is the economic center of Western Canada, with the second largest number of corporate head offices behind only Toronto. As such, Calgary has the most millionaires per capita in Canada and the highest after-tax median household income at $87,000. Although similar to Edmonton, the economy is heavily reliant on the oil and gas industries, which can boom and bust at any time. But regardless of how the economy is doing, you can always count on remarkable access to jaw-dropping nature and 333 sunny days per year to enjoy it. Banff National Park.
Wow. That's amazing. Like I was saying, I love when there's sun and when the sky is blue, no matter the temperature. I would rather have... Would I? I think so. I would rather have, like, if it's cold, but there's sunshine and blue skies, over having it be a nicer temperature, but maybe cloudy sometimes. So.
In the Badlands of Drumheller are each just 90 minutes away, and the city enjoys over 20,000 acres of green spaces and parks along the gorgeous Elbow and Bow rivers, as well as 1,000 kilometers of bike paths, which actually gives Calgary the most extensive biking network in North America. Throw in no city.
Really? I love that. You know, Dutch people love to bike. Not all of them, but I do.
Sales tax, one of the best light rail systems.
Well, I don't love it, but I like that I can do it as transport.
It's great diversity, an assortment of hip neighborhoods, and the largest rodeo in the world. And it's no wonder Forbes...
Yeah, I've never actually been to a real rodeo. I've in the Netherlands, I've been to this thing, I don't really know what to call it, more like this event around Western life, I guess you could say. And they had like a couple of little shows there, horse shows, but I've never actually been to a real rodeo, so I don't know what, like, yeah, I'd be interested to see a real rodeo.
Ranked Calgary as the third most livable city on Earth. Number 1, Montreal, Quebec. Yes, Montreal may no longer be Canada's largest city, and Toronto does have a much stronger economy. But in terms of cultural significance, uniqueness, and just all around...
And this looks European.
Fun, no city in Canada even comes close. In fact, I'd argue New York is the only US city that does. From the winding staircases of the colorful row...
Is that a hot take? What he said about New York being closer?
Homes, to the pride and people of each unique walkable neighborhood, to the world-class restaurants.
Wait, what?
I'd argue New York is the only US city that does. From the winding staircases of the colorful row homes, to the pride and people of each unique walkable neighborhood, to the world-class restaurants,
I love this walkable.
museums, nightlife, festivals, and universities, so much soul saturates this city. Sure, taxes are high, winters are brutal, and not knowing French will create some barriers. But Montreal doesn't just look like a
How brutal are the winters? That's my question.
European city. It embodies a European style of life where people work to live rather than live to work, which they can afford to do since rent is so cheap. Montreal personifies that je ne sais quoi better than any other city in Canada, and without a doubt is the best big city in this great country.
Wow. This is really interesting to see, and I guess it's just his perspective, of course, because it's always going to be subjective what you value more, if you value better weather, better economic chances and stuff like that. But yeah, it's also not really, this video is not really about hard facts of like this is the best city or whatever, but it's just a good way to learn about these different cities, because of course I didn't know that much about them yet, and I still only have like surface level information now too. But yeah, it's really interesting to see these differences, where you might have better weather, and how he rates that. That might be different from how someone else might rate it, but I do agree that Montreal seems really nice from this, and also Quebec. But that's probably because I am European and those looked more European to me, so it's just more what I'm used to, what I feel comfortable with, I suppose. But also Vancouver seemed nice, and Calgary. But let me know what your favorite city in Canada is and whether or not you live there, because I'm really curious, if that matches up, or that you just have this place where you don't live that maybe you think is either the best or your favorite. So let me know in the comments.